doing my live. I wanted to come a little earlier, but we had to do, the PTA was giving out scholarships. So oh, there we go. Now we can hear me twice. All right. I'm excited to play a little bit and show you one of the new Impressions of Bloom die sets. This is actually an online exclusive die set that came out in May. One of the reasons I like it is I really love these ovals. This cuts a plain oval, and this cuts an oval that has like a stitched ring around it that's actually separate. You'll see that. There's some centers of flowers. The flowers can either cut out with the coordinating stamp set, or you can add this detail to the flowers. The same goes with the leaves as well. So anyway, we're gonna make a couple cards with it, and I'm gonna kind of give you my thoughts. This is actually my monthly card class. So I went ahead and used a bunch of different embossing folders, and I want to show you those and which ones we used. Sorry, everything's kind of a mess right now. So the Glass and Gardens embossing folders, this is, we used both of these. So this one has kind of like a garden gate. It's kind of a geometric pattern. And then the garden one is like a really pretty kind of line art flower pattern, and I like it a lot. I like the geometric pattern too, but those are both really nice. Those are both online exclusives. The Damask Designs embossing folder is a annual catalog, and it's very pretty. You'll see that. And then the Pressed Flowers embossing folder is also an online exclusive, and it's very pretty as well. So I'm using all of those on these cards. So let me get, so when your packet comes in the mail, you'll have a sample of the pearls, the flat in color pearls. These are the new colors. And this kit really plays with all the new colors. And then the new basic beige ribbon. This ribbon is really, really pretty. It ties very nice bows. It's a really nice ribbon. I think you're gonna like it a lot. So let's make these patterns. So one of the cards is, we're gonna do one, each one of them is gonna have, we're gonna have 4 different pieces that are embossed. So this one kind of is embossed towards the bottom. And then I'm gonna show you the cards, and we're gonna kind of work towards them. I'm actually gonna lift this up a little bit just so that I can fit a little bit more in. So the garden gate one has these tear pieces on here. So we're gonna make this one. And then the one with the flowers that kind of has a band across is the plain oval. And then the 2 ovals that have that kind of extra stitched piece. One of them features the other embossing folder. I can't remember the name of this one. Pressed Flowers. So that one's really pretty. And then the other one is the Damask Designs, which also features that. So I'm going to show you, these 2 are virtually identical. The flowers are just arranged in a little bit of a different pattern. The other difference is that this one runs the ribbon on top of that. So I'm going to show you this one. This one you can make from the instructions that you get. This one's not hard. It's pretty much the same exact thing. So you'll be fine with that. And then I'll show you a little bit about this one and how to tear it. And we'll make this one as well, because this kit is 20 passes through the die machine, which is a lot. And hi, Kelly. And I petered out at some point. And so I think I probably should have cut one more of these stems, and I didn't. So I kind of created some faux stemmage here. So I'll show you that. All right. So let's make the easy one first. Easy, I don't know. They're all relatively easy. All right, I'm gonna dump all these fun little pieces here. And yeah, these flat pearls are really great. They're in the annual catalog, and they have them in both this year's in colors and last year's in colors. So this is Secret Sea, Cloud Cover, Timid Tiger, Darling Duckling, and Strawberry Slush. I would love to hear from you guys. So far, what's your favorite new in color? So tonight, if you want to participate, maybe you'll get something. Tell me what's your favorite in color, because I've definitely got a favorite, but you know, I'm always curious to hear everybody else's. So, all right, so we have this piece and we've got some of these. So we're just gonna take these pieces and we're gonna tear them. And I like to kind of tear them in one fell swoop because I think that you get a better look. It's a little more jagged than kind of like, So, and these are small enough that you can do that. And you can make them different sizes. You could go at an angle. You could get crazy. All right, great. So that's all scraps. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna glue these down and I'm at the bottom of my Tombow and I'm gonna get the last of it out. So I keep it upside down, right, so that I can get all my glue out, and then I try to, sometimes I have to kind of tap, tap, tap to make it work. All right, I'm gonna do kind of, there we go. And I'll do some cloud cover in there. The great thing about Tombow is you don't need a lot. So, well, maybe I'll go a little bit straighter. There we go. And you have a second to like reposition things, which I like. Secret Sea, Kelly. Ooh, dark and mysterious. I love it. Okay. I like Secret Sea too. I don't know that it would be my favorite. I do think it's a nice color. The ink, I'm a little, like it looks a lot like black. Like I use Secret Sea on all these sentiments and it is very, very close to black. But it's a beautiful color. I'm gonna go a little higher there. I wanted a little bit of height variation. I probably should have pulled that one down a little bit, but that's a-okay. All right. I've been using a lot of this ribbon, this beige ribbon. So we're gonna use the end of one. And they all have this tape on the end of them when you get to the bottom of the roll. And sometimes it can be a bit of a booger to remove it. But if you kind of pull like from here towards the end of the ribbon, then you kind of preserve the end of the ribbon. If you pull the other way, then you'll really mess up the end of the ribbon. So, okay, great. So we've preserved what we can there. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna tie a bow on top of this set, and I'm just gonna tie it in the middle-ish, and then I can move it afterwards. So that's the great thing about these. It's a big bow, but I'm okay with that. All right. So it's in the middle right now, but I'm gonna move it. So I'm just gonna slide it gently towards the side. And then I'm going to trim those ends off so they look nice, which is good because there was still a little bit of sticky residue on that one end from the tape. So, okay, so now we've got that piece. So now we're gonna go in here and find in my delightful pile. So this is one of the arches. Hi, Marlene. Everybody's voting on their favorite in color. So tell me what your favorite in color is. So this arch, I'm actually using the stamp set that is mixed labels. So I didn't care for the Irresistible Blooms stamp set, but I like all the sentiments in here. So I figured that I would just use a stamp set with sentiments that I liked. So I do need a black though. Let's see. All right. And I am going to use Secret Sea. very new, so. All right, great. So we've got that. Now, in this, I decided to use some of these flowers, and I wasn't super happy with the way it came out the first time, but I've got a plan the second time around. All right, so let me grab a couple of leaves, and we're gonna kind of glue the leaves on, you know, down. I'm gonna go down a little bit. I'm just gonna use a little bit of glue. There we go. So I think, yeah. Okay, and then this piece I'm going to stick, and I'm going to use my glue dots for this, because if I use glue dots, it'll kind of glue the base down, but it won't glue the whole flower, which is good. That's what I want. So I'm going to do a glue dot for this one, and I'm going to kind of go right on top of there, and then I'm going to do a glue dot for this big one. And I'm gonna tuck it kind of under here. And then I'm gonna kind of like curl these guys up. And then I'm gonna do a glue dot for this one. And I'm gonna glue it under here. So what I wanted to do was create kind of a, you know, a flower that had some layers to it. And I put that one on top, and I didn't like it, so such is life. And then these little tiny flowers actually adhere really well with a glue dot as well. So we'll just put a couple of these on here too. Do you know glue dots are our strongest adhesive? I thought that was an interesting fact. So, and then we're going to put a couple of dimensionals. So let's get some dimensionals on here. I'm just gonna use the sides, right? Waste not, want not. Someone asked me why I was using black dimensionals so much. It's just because that's what I ordered a bunch of last year on tax-free weekend. So, such is life. All right, so we're gonna pop this up with dimensionals. And that's perfect. And then we're gonna use some embellishments. So this one, we're just doing one of each color. So like we're gonna do one of those, and we're gonna do one of these, and then we're gonna do an orange, and we're gonna do a cloud cover, maybe a little bit closer there, and a secret sea. Cute. All right. And then this whole panel, we're just gonna pop up with some dimensionals. So I'm gonna do probably more than average, only because I just want this to look, one more. I want it to look nice and polished, and when you emboss, sometimes the paper curls a little, so I want this to lay nice and flat. I under-dimensionaled before, and I had to kind of like tuck a few more under. It needed more. And I have a card base here somewhere. Let's see, where are those? Oh, they're somewhere. Oh dear. Well, you know, things happen, right? I feel relatively certain I had some card bases here. Intriguing. Found it. So this uses basic beige for all faces and all the panels. I like the one look. And the reason I like this is because you can actually write on the inside of basic beige. So I think that that's a really nice, you know, nice thing to have. So, and then you don't have to put a white panel or anything on the inside. So I think that someone would be very happy to get this card. I think it's super cute. So hopefully you like this one as well. Now let's go ahead and do the one with the circle and the panel, and I'll show you guys some tricks on this. So my biggest trick is to have a silicone mat, because if you have a silicone mat, I'm gonna put this one kind of over here, then you're gonna be able to glue these pieces down really easily. So this ring needs to be glued down flat, and that's really hard to do. You could use adhesive sheets, but they would be kind of wasted on the inside panel because it cuts both the inside and the outside all together. So I just use a sponge and I use a little bit of glue, and I just then go through and daub that glue all over the oval. Whoop. And then I'm gonna take it and I'm gonna put it on the paper. And I'm gonna kind of hold it down gently. And I might even turn it over. If I had another silicone mat, I would probably have stuck this on a silicone mat and done it that way, but it's okay. This is like my big mouse pad. It gets glue on stuff on it all the time. But the reason I like that is because then you don't get a ton of excess glue. If you're trying to squeeze the glue out and glue it down like that, you're gonna get a lot of excess glue on the front of your card, and we don't want that. So then I use the same strategy for the oval itself and all of the greenery. So we're gonna get one of these, which is like a 2-prong one, and then we're gonna get one of our solo stems and one of our leaves. So we're gonna use a lot of this. And I'm gonna do the same strategy for this. I'm gonna lay this down, I'm gonna get some glue, and I'm going to make sure that I get this nice and glued. So this one goes kind of over and to the right. I'm just gonna hold that down for a second. Then this one we're going to do right in, if I can get the right side. Sometimes I can feel it. Yeah, there we go. And so, and I might need a little bit more glue. We'll find out. That one's gonna go in the middle. And I just use the same sponge over and over again. You could wash it eventually, like if you felt like you needed to wash or rinse the sponge out. And I just use partial. I don't use a full, fresh sponge. I'm just using a little corner of one. And then I'm gonna get this greenery over here. Kind of hold that down. All right. And then what's great about this, in a minute I'll show you, but you can literally, actually you can do it now too. You can just roll that glue off, that old glue, and it just rolls off to the side. And so it's very satisfactory. It's fun to play with. So then you've got that. You can also just wash this in the sink as well. So, all right, so we're going to use our scissors and we're going to just trim those couple of little pieces off the bottom. Then we're gonna get our flowers and we're gonna attach our flowers. So we need a big pink and a medium blue and a tiny orange, the timid tiger. And we're gonna flip those guys over and get them some dimensionals. And I just put one dimensional in the middle of all of them. And I kind of started at the top and kind of worked my way down the side. And I kind of want that one to hang over, right? Like I want it to be kind of spilling off the canvas, so to speak. And then I'm gonna get a couple of the yellow centers, the Darling Duckling centers, and I'm gonna put a dimensional on those as well. And I'm gonna put a small dimensional on each of those, the minis. They just fit better. And we're gonna pop one up on each of these. All right, perfect. And then, now that we have this piece glued, we're going to get some ribbon, which I've got another roll that has the end of a piece of ribbon here. So we're gonna get this guy. I finished a few rolls of ribbon prepping for this class, but all right. And so before we put the panel on, we're gonna go ahead and tie a nice little bow and slide it over to the side. And if you can aim it to the side to begin with, more power to you. Sometimes I'm good at that. Sometimes I end up square in the middle. Just kind of depends. And it does need to be pretty far over in order to give you room to adhere your panel down. So you are gonna go pretty far over, and I might tighten that up just a little bit. And then I'm gonna go ahead and trim it. And again, this ribbon ties really easy bows and is just really easy to use. So we're gonna put some dimensionals on the back of this. And again, I'll just use some side pieces. And then you could try to glue this panel down flat on a card, because you've got a ribbon on the back of it. You know, it might be a little lumpy. So I just go ahead and use more dimensionals. So we're going to get that right there. Perfect. And then we're going to flip this over. And it looks like I've got a few here. And again, I'm gonna go ahead and glue a little bit of the corners and the edges down. Normally I would just do 4 dimensionals, like 1 on every corner. But because of the embossing folder, I just wanna make sure that it all looks nice and flat and even. And so I'll probably put some extra dimensionals on here than I normally would. So pretty. I'm so glad. Thanks, Kelly. Thanks, Marlene. So nice to have you guys here. All right, Marlene, you didn't tell me what's your favorite ink color. I gotta know. And then I'll tell you mine. All right, so there's this card. And then we just need a couple of our pearls. For this one, we'll go kind of darker. We'll go moody. Yes. I'm actually gonna go, I'm gonna put one there and there. Nice. All right, great. Card number 2, done. All right, and then card number 3 is over here. Which one was I gonna do? Oh, that's the same one, yes, this one, okay. I was like, which one am I doing? Because I wanna show you how to build this piece. So this one, we're gonna pull another oval. And the reason I'm not gonna use this is because I'm using that on this one. So I'm gonna kind of pull all the pieces I need for this one, just so you can see if you get one of these packets in the mail, because you get my class, you'll understand why. So I used one of those for this, and then I used this one for this. What that leaves me is one long branch for this one, so one long stem. And then we're gonna have a blue flower and an orange and a small pink, which is great. And then for this one, we have a pink and an orange and a small blue. And then for this one, we have a smaller panel. We've got a couple of the big yellows and a small yellow. Okay. I think I need one more leaf somewhere. Okay, I'm gonna go cut another leaf. I was trying to not cut too many leaves tonight because the leaves are driving me crazy, but I think I'm gonna need one more leaf. So let me cut that real quick. So I got another leaf. Great. Okay, so this is the one we're not making, keeping myself focused. And I want to show you how to kind of build like a faux stem here. So we have a couple of leaves and we've got a stem. So we're going to pull in our mat again, our silicone mat. I think the silicone mat's like $5-6. I don't know. It's like the cheapest thing. Anxious for the mail. Oh, I'm so excited, Marlene. It'll be there soon. Sorry, it did take a really long time to cut this stuff, so I was definitely behind this month. So, strawberry slush is mine. It's nice to hear that, Marlene. I really love. I love strawberry slush. I think it's just such a pretty pink, and I mean, we have a lot of pinks, I know, but they're all very different. That's what I tell myself at least. All right, so this one, we're gonna put the stem just in the middle, and we can just go ahead and trim that off now, because we're good. And I did it pretty high. I really like these pieces that are like larger, but like we end up covering them with the flowers, so I don't know. I'm not sure that there's a point in them, but all right. So we're gonna put the blue one down, and he kind of stays, he stays within the frame, okay? Then we're gonna get a few of these leaves, and we're gonna add a little bit of glue. And I'm gonna build sort of a fake panel for this guy to hang out on. So he has a fake stem that is a leaf, and that's okay. And then we're gonna get another one. I'm gonna put one at the bottom just to give it a little bit of substance. And then I'm gonna do another one. And that's the one that's gonna hold up hopefully, the pink one. Maybe we'll go kind of right next to it. Okay. And then I have this banner that I can kind of tuck under here so that when I put the pink one on, and I'm gonna wait to put the pink one on because I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna move this glue out of the way. We're gonna stamp our sentiment. For a great friend. I think it fits nicely. The happy anniversary fits on the banner too, but it's really, really tiny. And so I decided that was too tiny. The font, I don't know. As I get older, tiny fonts are hard. I like big fonts, and I cannot lie. All right. I am stamping through another stamp. I know, I'm crazy. Let's see. Not bad, not bad. All right. We'll clean that in a second. Okay. So then I'm going to put a couple of dimensionals on the back of here so that we can see where we should place our last pink flower. And I'm going to kind of wedge it up under there just a little bit because I want overlap, right? I want to show that. And then I'm going to look to see. So I could do something up here, or I could kind of do it here. And I think this is where I'm going to do this one. I want him up and over that. Perfect. And then we've got some more little yellow centers. And so we'll find our minis for that. Maybe. Mini, mini, mini. All right, there we go. So this is a fun, it's a fun die set for sure. If you don't have it, I would definitely consider the die set. There is a matching designer series paper that goes with it. And it's nice. So I ended up gluing this panel down flat. You could pop it up, and then I popped the whole panel up with dimensionals. So this one, I just did a little glue. Bless me. No allergies. All right, and then that seems a little centered, not centered. It's hard to tell what I should have centered on there, but I'm gonna go with that. That seems good enough. And then, with this one, we're just adding a couple of the darling, thank you, Kelly, name of the dies. They are, and I always mess up the name, so I'm gonna be careful. Impressions Abloom, not Irresistible. I don't know why I keep calling them that. Impressions Abloom. It's item number 165610. I think it's really fun. I like that you can cut them in a bunch of different colors and make a bunch of different arrangements. And I like that basic beige is kind of a neutral background to go with all of them. You know, I do think that, you know, cutting 20 sets of them is probably too many, but I think they would be super cute otherwise. All right, and we're gonna add a few of the yellow. Maybe. Well, okay, here. We're gonna add, well, no, I want the same size. Oh, here they are. Okay, good. So I just want 2 of the same size yellow thing to kind of go on my banner. And they could be the big ones or the little ones. Doesn't make that much of a difference, but I thought they were really fun. So, all right, we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. We have 4 fun cards made with this die set that I think is really cute, and hopefully you love the look of these. I think it's a great way to play with all of the new in colors, because sometimes it's hard to see and imagine the colors if you're not playing with them, and I think they're a lot of fun together. Hi, Darla, welcome. Well, watch the replay, okay? I'm about to hang up, but watch the replay because we made some fun cards tonight with the Impressions Abloom die set and used the mixed labels. If you like the sentiments, I used mixed labels. I really like the combination of like script and like serifed and sans serifed fonts. So that's always my favorite kind of font stamp set. So thanks so much, Kelly. I appreciate it. And I hope that you guys had fun watching this. Let me know if you have any questions. And I do still have a couple openings for my paper party, which is an opportunity to get a sample of all the papers and embellishments in the new annual catalog. And then I design a card around each one of them, and I include the card ingredients in your packet. So I'll put a link below to that. And so come back to the video in a minute and you'll see a link in the description. Yeah, so glad you guys could join us. And nice to hear, Darla. Thanks so much. I hope you have a ton of fun playing with it. It's a great set and super fun to play with the new in colors and get a chance to you know, get my hands dirty with those and kind of decide what combinations I like and when I would use cloud cover and when I wouldn't, and secret sea, and you know, I think the timid tiger is a really fun color too. So it's a soft orange, which is nice. So all right, y'all, I will see you later. Have a wonderful night and I'll talk to you later. Bye everyone.